Hello, welcome to a special segment of Alex in the City where I like to interview local artists like models, actors, actresses, musicians, and today it is my pleasure to welcome Angela Gabriel to the show in her band. Hi.
Yay.
Hi. And tell us a little bit about your musical influences.
Well, when I was younger, I really enjoyed Madonna, Michael Jackson, The Cure. Now that I'm older, I really enjoy V&V Nation, Arcade Fire, IAMX, I believe.
Yeah.
It's an English band.
Very cool.
They're cool.
Yeah. I'm really into New Order, old school Cure, Bauhaus, David Bowie.
Bowie's awesome.
Yeah, totally awesome. Totally kind of old school, Susie and the Banshees kind of stuff. But then also a lot of the newer stuff. MMXIII's awesome. Foxes, if you've heard of Foxes yet.
No, I haven't heard of them yet. I'll have to check them out.
The Naked and Famous, Arcade Fire, all those guys. And then of course anything by Morrissey, a complete Morrissey fiend.
Yeah.
And
I think the Cure is a big influence. Bauhaus, Bowie. It was a very big influence in my life.
So you guys have very similar influences. So tell us a little bit about your music and what you guys are doing.
Well, we kind of do electronic,
Okay.
and it's kind of dark wave. Some people may call it gothic.
dark pop.
Dark pop. I wouldn't exactly categorize it as gothic. Some songs are kind of gothic, but we'd like to take it to the electronic, more the electronic genre, so that we have kind of a wider range in our audience. But
Yeah, and then the real thing that's interesting about this project is we're blending a lot of synthesizer sounds with guitar, real guitars and bass guitars and organic instruments. So it brings a nice organic sound to the project, not just straight up electronic or like some stuff, which we appreciate as well. But for this project, so a lot of this stuff kind of has an organic, kind of natural production quality to it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, have you guys played in other bands before, or before coming together as the current incarnation that you are now, or?
yes, I did do some previous work with the Red King, and that was mostly live performance.
Right.
It wasn't anything recorded with them, although they do have a record out. And then I've done some work with Paul Mercer on the Ghost Project, and I did my own band called Severed Halo, which was it unfortunately didn't go anywhere, but now we're on the Angela Gabriel project, and that seems to be going somewhere, so.
That's really exciting. So,
So I have previous experience with Jeff Lyer project. So
nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a dark, like Elliott Smith flavor.
Oh yes.
Kind of.
a little darker.
I don't want to say depressing, but kind of darker folk type stuff. And then previously I played with the legendary Ghost Parade here in Portland for a lot of years.
I've heard of them. They're really they were awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And we did some work with Cathedral Park.
Yeah, and I'm still currently involved with Cathedral Park, which is a dark wave, gothic, kind of old school goth band.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So, so tell us a little bit about the EP that you just released this year. What can we find on that?
You can go online and find it under iTunes, Amazon.
UK.
Yeah, it's on all the like eMusic and Yahoo Music, all the. It's an electronic release, or digital release, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's available online through iTunes and all.
You can
all
also
your.
listen to it on SoundCloud too.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff on SoundCloud, Yeah.
You can listen to it for free, or you know, you can support your band and download it for very, very cheap if you'd like. So.
Well, I always say go out and support your local artists and actually buy their music instead of downloading it for free.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's the only way you guys can make your money too.
Yeah, it's, you know, even though we have a home studio and we're kind of all involved in promotions and all that kind of stuff, but it's still expensive and it's so incredibly time consuming.
Oh yes, I know that feeling all too well.
But obviously we don't get into it for the expenses. We get into it for the love and the art.
Right, exactly.
You know, we've been doing this stuff a long time, so this is truly a labor of love. We make records because we enjoy it. And we're lucky enough that, you know, we have some fans out there that really enjoy it, and that's the payback for what we do.
It really is. Like, just the fans who enjoy our music, it's just a huge payback.
Yeah, so the record was released in February, and we've had some really positive feedback on it. The reviews are coming in, and yeah, we're just excited about it. Cool.
Okay.
Cool stuff.
Cool. So, any advice you have for any musicians out there that are wanting to put their foot in the water about this?
My best advice is don't do it expecting to get anywhere. Just do it because you love doing it, and you know, continue doing it, and you'll get better at it. And you know, put the word out there, and hopefully maybe you'll make something of yourself, and if you don't, then at least you're doing something you love doing, and that's what's most important, is to just love the art in itself.
Yeah, and then the other stuff comes back around eventually.
Exactly.
In theory.
Yeah.
In theory. Yeah.
But I don't know, that's a good question. I would say to any young bands out there that although live playing is incredibly essential and important, it's also so important to make records.
Right.
And nowadays, with technology being, you know, I mean, you could make, as we've done, make a record in your bedroom, and it's just so important because that captures a moment in time that you can never get back. The 45 minutes you might be headlining the show, which is very, very cool, but at the end of the night, there's really nothing unless you have a record to give your fans. So I think that, because I see a lot of this, I see a lot of young bands start up and then they fizzle out after 6 months or a year or something, and never made a record. I just want to kick them and say, man, you guys need to make a record because I like your stuff. And I want to be a fan, and that's how you really become a fan.
Yeah.
The whole
point of making a record is to have something that you can play over and over again. Because if you go and see somebody live, you have it for that moment, but you don't necessarily.
Remember it because it's not recorded.
But if you have a record, then you have something that you can listen to. So we're not going to necessarily go out and say do a show, maybe that often. But we have something that's recorded in history. We have something firmly planted that people can go and say, that's ageless, it's timeless, you know?
And you never know, they might do like a classic dark wave history of music in college, like 100 years from now, and your music could be like playing in that class, and they could be talking about you in that class, like Bach or Mozart or...
Well, here's a good question.
And here's a good example too, Ghost Parade. Of all bands, you can actually get the album Dying Breed at the library, which is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's kind of an example for someone exploring new music. That's a band that's no longer around, but we're still somehow relevant because we have that recording from back then. So it is very important.
It looks like I'm gonna have to go to my library and check out the CD.
Absolutely.
That just sounds so awesome. That's in the library right now.
If you think about it, we're kind of like the Mozart of our age, because it's like Mozart had something, he made something, he created something, and it became a consistent, like an oral story or a book or something that you can pick up and, you know, use, and it becomes alive, and it becomes timeless forever and ever.
So anyway, you were talking about how when you record something, it's basically a record of what you do.
Jeff, would you care to elaborate on that?
You know, it captures that moment in time. It's something that 40 years from now, you can look back and listen to that and brings you right back to that point in time, which is, it's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it will be there for like a couple hundred years from now too.
Or longer.
Or longer. Or longer, depending like if aliens decide to land on Earth and they're like,
what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm. Or they could
or
be
they
like,
go, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
We should have came earlier.
Hey, well, let's
I'm
make
glad
sure.
we conquered these people.
Yeah, exactly.
Their music's terrible.
No, I don't really think the aliens are gonna think that they'll be like, oh crap, some more stuff our kids can listen to.
Or, I mean, like in Star Trek, the Klingons, everybody always thinks the Klingon ritual music is terrible.
Well,
you want something terrible to listen to, you listen to Klingon ritual music.
Or Klingon, or what they call is Klingon opera. Yeah.
That's funny, I've never heard that before.
Yes.
Yeah, they mention a lot of Klingon opera in Star Trek.
Yeah, they do all the time.
Yes, they do. How long have you guys been together as a band?
November of 2012 we started.
And
so a year.
Awesome. So what's it like working with each other?
Our personalities all work really well. And I hate to say it, but we're all fire signs, so maybe that has something to do with it. So we all have like this extraordinary art and passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just, obviously every sign has their art and passion, but fire signs go at it a certain way, and I don't know, it works really well, and we all have similar personalities, so
Well, that's always a good thing to have similar personalities when you're working on a project or working on any type of project for that matter.
And we're married, so there's like absolutely no drama there. He's got a wonderful, cute little girlfriend who I wish was here today. So it's not like any of us are single and out like trying to party.
Right.
Family's important to us.
Yes.
So that takes priority.
Yeah, and that also keeps you focused in your project too. I can gather, because I noticed that there's been a lot of these young bands in Portland. They're all about like, oh hey, after the gig, let's go out and get all effed up. And
we're not about that. We'll have some wine or we'll drink a beer or whatever.
It's all
It's not like the old days though.
It's not like the old days.
We're
all a little bit older. I wouldn't say we're old. We're definitely not old.
Well, just a little bit wiser, a little bit more.
We've all had our party days, I think.
Oh yes, we all have. Tequila is no longer my best friend anymore.
we still like to
he's not quite done. He's the youngest pup in the group.
Right.
What, you're 29? 29. He's the youngest pup in the group, but he still has a stable head on his shoulder, and he's slowed down quite a bit so that you can focus on the music, because a lot of the younger bands, I hate to say this, but they're out, especially male bands, they're out there looking for
testosterone,
the next thing to sleep with, and then move on the road and go to the next town, and it's like, how do you keep your focus? And that causes a lot of drama. So.
Well, it seems like no matter what profession you are in the entertainment field, whether it's sports, theater, or acting, or film, or music, there's just way too much testosterone being thrown around.
And maybe that makes us boring. We're like, they're kind of old and boring. But
well, I totally understand where you're coming from on that, because back in my early days when I was doing my cable access show, I was like partying 24/7, partying with rock stars, partying with the models and the actors, because of who I was. And now that I'm like close to 45 and settling down, it's like, you know what? I still just want to do my craft and just kind of cut out the party element, So,
exactly.
It becomes a little more serious than
it does become a little bit more serious when you get older.
And you actually can focus a little bit more, unless you have a lot of drive to.
You start to realize too, how valuable time actually is.
Yes, you do.
Yes, and life is just too short to.
You're like, oh gosh, another wrinkle just popped up this morning. Darn it.
I'm not too worried about wrinkles now. It's just,
You know, at my age, I'm pretty happy, and I think I wear it well. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's all about how you wear it. But for women, it's harder for women in the entertainment industry than it is men.
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of the industry is based on, you know, upon your looks, which sucks because it should be about, you know,
your talent,
what you can do, your talent.
Exactly.
Well, it is the entertainment industry, though.
It is the entertainment industry, and so, you know, we all strive to look our best. So, you know, the eyeliner just gets a little bit heavier each year.
You make yourself sound like you're old.
So,
okay.
Are you guys gonna be touring anytime soon?
Yeah, we're in the process of working that out. Actually, we're getting ready to go back in the studio, and this is exciting. We're gonna be doing a cover of Depeche Mode cover.
Ooh.
Yeah, Enjoy
that
the Silence.
Sounds exciting.
Enjoy the Silence. We're gonna be doing it our way, which is gonna be very exciting. And so that's our next thing that we have planned, and we're hoping to actually start work on that by the end of the year, and then we're probably looking into spring to start doing a couple shows here and there.
Fantastic. So, where can fans of your music find you online? Do you guys have a Facebook page?
Yeah, you can go to www.angelagabrielproject.com, and you can go to iTunes, SoundCloud, Amazon.
We're also on Facebook. We're not on MySpace because that's no longer cool.
Well, MySpace. Well, I hate to say this, but MySpace had its time, and it just really sucks now.
Yeah,
so.
It's terrible now.
Oh my.
Back in the day, man. It was
don't even get me started on MySpace. No, that was a nightmare and a half.
Yeah, what a letdown.
Now I just want to get myself off of MySpace, and I'm not even sure how to do
well,
that.
I
have an old profile that I don't remember.
Everyone has a different email address
So,
now.
any advice to any aspiring actors, musicians, or models out there? Don't do MySpace. I'm not doing MySpace anymore. We're not doing MySpace anymore. It just
and you shouldn't do MySpace either.
Yes, friends
it's a
do not.
waste of time.
Yes, friends do not let friends do MySpace.
Excellent.
Well, thanks.
I think that about sums it up.
Yes,
very well.
exactly. Well, guys, thanks so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
And thank you for watching.
Yes, definitely. And we will see you next time on Alex in the City. And I'm Alexander Paris signing off. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.